Your greatness starts from within. Hence, these signs are going to help you locate that which is in you.
Have you ever wondered why people expect you to react so fast? They know you will. They know how you think, how you feel, what you'll do next. And because they know, they control you without even needing to lift a finger. But once you ignore them, everything changes. The chains of predictability. You live inside invisible chains, chains built from your own predictability. Every time you respond instantly, every time you offer yourself emotionally without a pause, physically without a moment to think, mentally without guarding your gates, you feed the system that keeps you trapped. But something powerful happens when you stop. When you stop reacting immediately, when you stop being so available, a strange silence falls between you and them. They can't read you anymore. They can't predict you. They lose their grip on you, and everything changes. Carl Jung understood this better than most. He spoke about the hidden forces that pull at our minds and our souls without our even knowing. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." It's not fate, it's habit, it's training. And the moment you break the pattern, you reclaim your life. Most people don't even notice how tightly they are tied to the impulses of others. Someone sends a text, you feel you must reply instantly. Someone criticizes you, you rush to defend yourself. Someone shows a little attention, you open your heart wide, desperate for their approval. It's an endless play of reaction. But what if you simply stopped? Imagine the power in waiting. Imagine the strength in silence. Imagine the mystery you would suddenly have when you don't move the way they expect. In ancient teachings across cultures, there are quiet warnings against this trap. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, "Today, I will meet people who are interfering, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." He didn't prepare to fight them. He prepared to stay unmoved by them. In Taoism, the greatest masters spoke of Wu Wei, the art of non-action, not because they were lazy, but because they knew that real power comes not from constant motion, but from wise stillness. When you react immediately, you hand your power to the world. When you pause, you pull your power back home. There is a reason people are uncomfortable when you don't react. They sense it. They feel the balance shifting. You may have noticed it already. The moment you don't text back right away, they start to wonder. The moment you don't explain yourself after a misunderstanding, they get nervous. The moment you don't rush to help every time they have a crisis, they start to realize they don't own you anymore. This is the beginning of real freedom. Emotional availability is a beautiful thing when it is given by choice, not by default. Physical presence is a gift when it comes from strength, not fear. Mental focus is sacred when you control it, not when others hijack it. The world has trained you to believe that fast reactions mean you care. That instant replies mean you're a good friend, a good partner, a good person. But that's a lie. Fast reactions often come from anxiety, from fear of losing people, from old survival patterns that no longer serve your highest self. When you stop reacting instantly, you give yourself a gift: space. In that space, you begin to see clearly. You start hearing your own voice again, underneath the noise. You realize how much of your life has been spent chasing fires other people lit, dancing to songs you didn't even like, fighting battles that were never truly yours. Once you ignore them, the expectations, the demands, the noise, you begin to remember yourself. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become cold. It means you stop being controlled. You move from a slave of impulses to a master of response. In every sacred text, there are hints about this hidden strength. Jesus withdrew into silence often, even when crowds demanded miracles. Buddha sat in stillness under the Bodhi tree, while the demons of illusion tried to shake him. Socrates allowed himself to be misunderstood, rather than chasing the approval of the angry mob. The strong do not move at the world's command. They move when their soul calls them to move. And when you become one of them, the whole game shifts. At first it feels strange. You will feel the pressure to answer, to explain, to jump. You will feel others pulling at you harder. They might accuse you of being selfish, distant, difficult. But stay still, stay calm, because they are not angry that you have changed. They are afraid that they have lost the control they had over you. This is the secret they don't want you to know. The less you react, the more power you have. You are no longer a puppet on invisible strings. You are a force, a mystery, an echo of something greater than they can understand. But you cannot become that person if you are always tied to everyone else's needs, moods, and expectations. You must step back. You must pause. You must give yourself space to grow. And once you ignore them, everything changes. The constant expectations. Have you ever wondered why people expect you to always be there for them? Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. It's because you trained them to believe you would be. You answered every message, picked up every call, showed up every time they needed a shoulder, a brain, a lifeline. In the beginning, it felt good. Being needed looked like love. It looked like value. It made you believe you had a place in their world. You mistook their constant reaching for a bond. You mistook their endless needs for real connection. But slowly, almost silently, something inside you began to rot. A heaviness grew, a kind of numbness you couldn't name. You started waking up exhausted even after sleeping all night. Conversations left you drained instead of filled. The laughter you gave sounded hollow to your own ears. You were living, but you were not alive. And the worst part was, no one noticed. They only noticed when you weren't immediately available. They didn't see you crumbling because you were still answering, still showing up, still sacrificing. This is the hidden cost of being endlessly available. You lose yourself. People take your time because you never said no. They drain your energy because you never pulled away. They hijack your mind because you never closed the door. You stop existing for yourself and start existing as an extension of everyone else's needs. You become a tool, a utility, a fixture in the background of their lives. You stop being a human being and turn into a resource. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But how can you ever discover yourself when you are too busy being what everyone else demands? How can you grow into your own soul when your days are spent patching up theirs? You can't. Your real self atrophies in the shadows, forgotten even by you. You start feeling foreign in your own skin, a visitor inside your own life. Worse still, the more available you are, the less valuable you become in their eyes. It is a brutal truth. When something is always there, people stop seeing it. When someone is always ready to help, they stop appreciating it. Your kindness becomes expected. Your sacrifices become invisible. Your presence, once a gift, turns into a given. And when you finally need something, when you finally dare to ask for a little space, a little silence, a little breathing room, they look at you like you have betrayed them. This is the dark side no one warns you about. You thought you were building closeness by being dependable, but in truth, you were making yourself easier to forget, easier to use, easier to discard. You were creating a world where your needs didn't matter, because you trained them not to see you as someone who needed anything at all. They only see the hand you extend, not the heart behind it. They only see the results of your efforts, not the cost you pay every single day. But when you finally stop, when you finally pull back your energy, your presence, your endless availability, everything changes. At first, the world you propped up begins to wobble. People panic. They wonder why you didn't answer right away. They invent stories in their minds about what's wrong with you. They send little jabs disguised as concern. Are you okay? You seem distant. They knock louder, call more, text relentlessly. Not because they miss you, but because they miss what you gave them. You must resist. Every moment you stay silent, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Every unanswered message, every call you let go to voicemail, every invitation you politely decline without explanation, it all builds a new boundary around your life. You are not being cruel. You are being faithful to yourself. You are not abandoning them. You are choosing not to abandon yourself anymore. Your emotions are not a public park for everyone to wander through whenever they feel bored or lonely. Your mind is not a motel where anyone can crash for the night. Your soul is not a community center open to whoever knocks. You are sacred space, and it is not selfish to protect it, it is survival. The ones who truly care will not resent your boundaries. They will respect them. They will learn to appreciate your time, not demand it. They will knock and wait, not barge in. They will stay even when you are not immediately available. But the ones who only came to take will reveal themselves too. They will grow angry. They will accuse you of being distant, selfish, changed. They will fall away. Let them. Their departure is not a loss, it is a cleansing. When you stop being always available, something extraordinary happens. Your breath deepens, your thoughts sharpen. Your spirit, once thin and worn, begins to thicken, to stretch its wings again. You remember dreams you abandoned. You feel ideas bubbling up inside you that you haven't felt in years. You find yourself smiling without any audience, laughing without prompting. You come back to life. Most of all, you find your voice. Not the voice that says what others want to hear. The real one, the one that speaks from the marrow of your bones. The one that says yes only when you mean it and no without apology. The one that no longer explains or justifies or begs for understanding. The one that simply stands. You realize that shrinking yourself to fit the hunger of others was never love. It was fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being unloved. Fear of being called selfish. But real love never demands you to disappear. Real love invites you to be fully, vibrantly alive. Once you cross this threshold, you can never go back. Once you taste the freedom of being whole instead of being available, you will defend it with everything you have. You will see clearly. The ones worth keeping in your life are the ones who love you even when you are no longer convenient. And you will never again apologize for choosing yourself. Reclaiming the silent power. There is a moment, quiet and almost invisible, when you realize you do not have to explain yourself anymore. It feels strange at first, like forgetting something you used to carry everywhere. The urge to rush in and fix everyone's discomfort, to offer endless reassurance, fades away. Silence, once terrifying, becomes your ally. You learn that you don't have to defend your decisions, your energy, your time. You learn that true power often lives in what you choose not to say, where you choose not to go, and what you choose not to give away. In ancient traditions, silence was seen as a form of wisdom. The old Sufi masters said that silence is the language of God, and all else is a poor translation. When you stop being reactive, when you stop flinging your energy out into the world at every tug and call, you begin to speak that language too. You begin to feel a deep inner strength rising from the roots of your being, something unshakable. People notice it, though they may not understand it. They sense that you are no longer available for their old games. They sense that you have entered a different territory, a different vibration entirely. This change is not about arrogance. It is about presence. You are no longer chasing anyone. You are no longer proving your worth. You are simply here, grounded, self-possessed. The ones who valued you only for your compliance will find this unsettling. They depended on your predictability, your readiness to please, your constant yes. When that vanishes, they lose control, and control was always the real prize. Without your automatic reactions, they are left to face themselves, often for the first time. That is not your burden to carry. The deeper you go into this quiet power, the more you realize how much you gave away without even thinking. Your mornings were theirs. Your peace was theirs. Your best ideas were spent patching up their broken dreams. Now, all of it flows back to you. You wake up with a stillness that feels sacred. Your mind becomes clearer, not cluttered with the noise of everyone else's drama. Your body feels lighter, because you are no longer dragging their weight with you everywhere you go. It is here, in this stillness, that you start to create your real life. Not the life shaped by obligation or guilt or manipulation, but a life built from your own desires, your own dreams. You remember things you used to love before you became a caretaker for the world. You find yourself drawn to places, people, ideas that nourish you rather than drain you. The more you honor your space, the more the world rearranges itself around your new center. Some will not survive this shift. Some will call you cold, selfish, different. Let them. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are not here to play a role in someone else's script. As Carl Jung said, the shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Your life is not meant to fit their expectations. It is meant to fit your soul. The ones who truly belong in your life will not fear your power. They will rise to meet it. They will come to you with respect, not demands. With openness, not neediness. With admiration, not entitlement. These people will not flinch when you say no. They will not punish you for your boundaries. They will celebrate your sovereignty because they have claimed their own. In many old teachings, it is said that when a warrior stops reacting, he becomes invisible to his enemies. This is not just about physical battles. It is true for spiritual battles too. When you no longer react, you stop feeding the games of the ego, both yours and theirs. You step into a field beyond right and wrong, beyond winning and losing, beyond the exhausting cycle of pleasing and punishing. You move with purpose. You move with grace. You move with freedom. It will not always be easy. There will be days when you miss the old patterns simply because they were familiar. There will be moments when the silence feels heavy, when you wonder if you made a mistake by stepping away. Doubt will visit you. Guilt will whisper in your ear. But stay still. Let the discomfort wash over you like a storm. It will pass, and what remains will be truer, stronger, and more radiant than anything you sacrificed before. This is the beginning of a different kind of life. A life where you are the center of your own existence, not a satellite orbiting around everyone else's needs. A life where your yes means something because you are no longer afraid to say no. A life where your spirit breathes freely, unburdened, untangled, unbroken. Everything changes when you stop being so easy to reach. Everything good begins when you stop being so easy to control. Building an inner world. When you step away from the noise, a strange thing happens. You realize most of the noise was never yours to carry. It belonged to others, their demands, their projections, their endless thirst for your energy. Now, with the space you have reclaimed, something sacred begins to take shape inside you. You are no longer pouring yourself into bottomless cups. You are keeping your water for the seeds you choose to plant. At first, This new world inside you feels almost too quiet. It is like standing at the entrance of a great, empty temple. There is a temptation to run back to the familiar chaos, to the comfort of old distractions. But if you stay, if you resist the pull to return to noise, you will feel something rise inside you. A voice, not loud, but steady. This voice is the real you, the one that always existed, but was drowned out by everyone else's urgency. The mystics often said that the outer world is only a reflection of the inner. When you allow your inner world to become peaceful, deliberate, and pure, the outer world slowly follows. No longer does every passing emotion shake you. No longer do you bleed out your time and focus for anyone who demands it. You have built walls, but not to keep life out. You have built them to keep your spirit protected while it grows into its true shape. In Buddhist teachings, there is a story about a monk who built a small garden at the edge of a loud, crowded town. Every morning, the townspeople would throw trash into it, and every morning, the monk would quietly clean it up, planting something beautiful where the waste had fallen. Over time, the garden became so radiant that the townspeople stopped throwing their garbage. They began to visit the garden just to sit in its peace. The monk never fought them. He simply maintained the purity of his space until it changed the hearts of those who entered. This is how your inner world must be treated, not with bitterness, not with anger, but with patient, loving protection. You are no longer available for every passing storm. You are no longer a door left wide open for whoever wishes to walk in. You are the monk tending his sacred ground. Building this inner world requires discipline, but not the kind taught by force. It is the discipline of choosing yourself again and again, choosing to listen inward rather than react outward, choosing to hold your silence instead of rushing to explain, choosing to walk away rather than beg to be understood. Each choice lays another stone in the foundation of your new life, and the results are subtle but powerful. Where once your mind raced in 100 directions, now it moves with intention. Where once you felt drained by every interaction, now you feel centered. Your emotions are not puppets on strings anymore. They are understood, respected, and integrated. You feel less urgency to fix others, to win their approval, to carry their burdens. You begin to notice beauty again, real beauty, not the manufactured kind. A sunrise, a song, a conversation where nothing needs to be performed. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." By building your inner world, you are choosing awakening. You are no longer hypnotized by the movements of others. Their praise no longer lifts you too high. Their criticism no longer buries you too deep. You stand firmly in yourself, unshaken, unhidden. The people who once pulled you in different directions will sense this new force within you. Some will be confused, some will be angry, some will simply drift away, realizing they can no longer extract what they once did. Let them. Their departure is not your loss, it is your liberation. Those meant to walk with you will respect the temple you are building inside. They will not demand to tear it down for their convenience. In old Celtic traditions, there was a belief in sacred spaces known as thin places. Places where the veil between the visible and the invisible world is thinner, where magic and spirit can be touched. Your inner world becomes a thin place when you build it with care. It becomes a gateway between your highest self and the life you are meant to live. It becomes impossible for manipulation, for noise, for the petty struggles of ego to survive there. And as this inner temple strengthens, you change in ways you can't always explain. You move slower, but with more meaning. You speak less, but your words carry more weight. You feel lighter, not because you have less to care about, but because you have chosen to carry only what truly belongs to you. There is no applause for this kind of growth, no ceremony, no trophy. But there is peace, a peace so deep that no outside event can steal it. A peace that wraps around you like invisible armor. A peace that, once tasted, you will never trade again for the shallow rewards of being constantly available. Everything changes when you realize your energy is sacred. Everything real begins when you decide your spirit is not a playground for other people's battles. When you stop chasing, they lose their power. Have you ever noticed how desperately people try to pull you back when you stop chasing them? It is almost as if your silence is louder than your words ever were. When you stop reaching, stop explaining, stop justifying, something inside them panics. Their control over you is slipping, and they know it, even if they can't put it into words. In life, most of us are taught that love must be earned, that attention must be fought for, that approval is a prize, handed out only if you meet invisible standards. But once you wake up and realize that true love, true respect, cannot be forced, everything shifts. You begin to see clearly. You begin to understand that if something must be chased, it was never freely offered. And if it was never freely offered, it was never meant for you in the first place. There is an ancient Zen story about a man who sees a bird trapped in a cage. Moved by compassion, he opens the door and sets it free. But the bird, used to the cage, refuses to leave. It clings to the bars, frightened of the wide open sky. Freedom for many feels more terrifying than captivity. It is the same with people. When you stop being the predictable comfort they leaned on, many will panic. They would rather you stay small, caged, predictable and available, even if it costs you your soul. Stopping the chase does not mean you do not care. It means you have learned to care differently. You now understand that your energy is not an endless river for others to drink from whenever they wish. It is sacred. It must be shared wisely, not thrown at anyone who demands it. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." This is not coldness, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that you were not born to be a puppet pulled by invisible strings. You were born to move with your own rhythm, to follow your own truth, no matter how many misunderstand or reject it. When you stop chasing, something even more powerful happens. You stop vibrating with desperation. You stop sending out the invisible signal that says, "Please validate me. Please notice me. Please accept me." Instead, your energy becomes still, strong, magnetic. You attract rather than pursue. You draw in people, experiences, and opportunities that align with your deeper truth, not your wounded need. This shift is subtle, but it is powerful. People sense it even if they can't explain it. They feel the difference. Some may grow resentful, confused as to why you no longer dance to their tune. Others may finally recognize your value now that you are no longer offering it so freely. But most importantly, you will recognize it yourself. The act of no longer chasing does not mean you build walls so high no one can reach you. It means you have become the gatekeeper of your own life. You decide who gets to come in. You decide who deserves your time, your heart, your attention. You are no longer at the mercy of everyone else's storms. In ancient Greek philosophy, the idea of ataraxia was central, the state of being unshaken by fear, desire, or external turmoil. It was the highest form of freedom. To reach it, one must stop reacting to every pull, every temptation, every demand from the outside world. You must become the calm in the storm, not another branch tossed by the wind. The world will test you when you choose this path. It will throw every trick it knows at you. Old patterns will call your name. Familiar chaos will knock at your door. Moments of loneliness, of self-doubt, will creep in like shadows, but if you hold your ground, if you stay still inside yourself, a new life will begin to unfold around you. It is not the life built from chasing others. It is the life built from honoring yourself. Your energy will no longer be wasted on proving, pleasing, or persuading. It will be used for creating, for becoming, for building something real. You will find yourself breathing more deeply, walking more slowly, smiling for no reason other than the quiet joy of being at peace with yourself. And in this new world, you will understand the secret that so many never learn. The ones who truly belong in your life will never require you to chase them. The opportunities meant for you will never require you to beg for them. The life you are destined for will not demand you to lose yourself in pursuit of it. By ignoring the noise, by stepping away from the chase, you are not giving up. You are finally stepping into your own destiny. You are choosing the road where you lead yourself, not the one where others drive you endlessly into walls. There is deep power in walking away from what drains you. There is deep magic in no longer running after people or things that were never yours. There is deep peace in letting the noise fade and hearing, maybe for the first time, the steady, sure heartbeat of your own spirit. The hidden vision. You awaken by walking away. There is a strange and beautiful thing that happens when you stop reacting to everything around you. You begin to see, not with your eyes alone, but with something deeper, your inner vision, your quiet wisdom, your forgotten instincts. When you are always pulled into drama, into arguments, into chasing approval, your mind becomes cloudy. You can't tell what is real and what is just noise. But when you step back and stop reacting, the fog lifts. You start noticing things that were invisible before. The true intentions behind words, the silent energy in a room, the way people's actions speak louder than anything they could ever say. Ignoring the constant demands for your attention doesn't just bring you peace, it sharpens your senses. You become like a still lake, reflecting everything clearly. Nothing stirs you unless you choose it. You stop being controlled by outside forces and start recognizing the forces within. The ancient mystics believed that the outer world is a mirror. Whatever is unsettled inside you gets mirrored by chaos around you. When you heal the inside, the outside begins to fall into order too. That is why so many teachers, from the Buddha to Marcus Aurelius, spoke about inner stillness as the key to true power. The more you stop reacting, the more you notice the small signs that were always there. A friend's fake smile, a business partner's uneasy handshake, the small lies people tell themselves and others. Before, these things would have flown past you, hidden under the noise. But now you see, clearly, deeply, instantly. This awakening of inner vision is not about judgment. It is not about labeling others as good or bad. It is about knowing where to place your energy and where to hold it back. It is about protecting your spirit without building walls of fear. You begin to trust your gut feeling, the soft inner voice that always tried to guide you but was drowned out by the world shouting. Now that voice becomes your compass. You start moving differently, slower, wiser, with purpose, not panic. The philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "At the center of your being you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. You do not have to hunt it outside yourself. It grows stronger the more you ignore the distractions." This hidden vision also frees you from old traps. You no longer fall for promises made by words alone. You no longer stay in places where your soul shrinks just because you are afraid of leaving. You no longer confuse attention with love or noise with importance. You see clearly that many things which once seemed urgent are actually meaningless. You understand that not every battle is worth fighting. You realize that not every invitation into drama must be accepted. As you step deeper into this new way of seeing, your entire life begins to shift. You pick your battles with care. You choose your company with wisdom. You invest your time in what feeds your spirit, not what drains it. The people around you notice, even if they cannot explain it. Some will be drawn to your calmness like moths to a flame. Others will feel threatened by it because they cannot control it. Both are natural. Both are signs you are walking the right path. Your vision is not meant to make you lonely. It is meant to make you selective. Not everyone is ready for the deep waters you now swim in, but those who are will find you. And when they do, your connections will be richer, deeper, and more real than anything you ever chased in the past. The Sufi poet Rumi once wrote, "What you seek is seeking you." When you no longer chase but stand still in your truth, what is truly meant for you can finally find you. By ignoring the noise, the drama, the endless demands, you did not lose anything real. You simply cleared the space for everything true to enter. This hidden vision is your gift. It is your birthright, and once awakened, it can never be taken from you again. You become untouchable by the ordinary world. Something powerful happens at the end of your quiet transformation. You become someone who no longer fits into the patterns that once trapped you. You become untouchable, not in the sense that you are distant or cold, but in the way a mountain is untouchable by the winds that whip around it. When you stop reacting to every push and pull, when you no longer give away your energy carelessly, something inside you hardens, not with bitterness, but with strength. You no longer live on the surface, tossed about by the tides of emotion, gossip, and fear. You have roots now. You are grounded deep in yourself, and no storm can shake you. People may still try to pull you back into old games. They may say things to trigger your anger, your sadness, or your insecurity. They may even use kindness as a tool to get a reaction from you. But because you now live from the inside out, not the outside in, those tricks lose their power. This doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you feel everything, but you choose which feelings deserve your voice and which do not. You become the master of your inner world. That is the true meaning of freedom. The Stoic philosophers spoke of this kind of strength. Epictetus taught that it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. When you no longer react blindly, you regain your ability to see events simply as they are, not as personal attacks or punishments. Life becomes lighter, even when it is difficult. Your silence, your slowness, your carefulness, they become weapons against manipulation. People who once controlled you with guilt or praise find that their tools no longer work. They stand baffled before you, not understanding why you are no longer the same. But you are not the same because you have remembered who you truly are. This inner shift changes even how you see problems. Before, you might have rushed to fix everything, to explain yourself, to seek approval. Now you allow space for things to unfold. You realize that not every misunderstanding needs a defense. Not every loss needs chasing. Not every closed door is a tragedy. You understand that you are not here to be constantly available to everyone else's needs, feelings, or expectations. You are here to live your purpose, to walk your path, and to protect your peace like it is a sacred fire. At this stage, something almost magical happens. You start attracting what matches your new spirit. You notice opportunities coming without you forcing them. You meet people whose calmness matches your own. You find that life brings you situations that honor your inner growth, not threaten it. This is not luck. It is the law of energy. What you embody, you draw into your life. By ignoring the noise of the world, you have tuned your soul to a higher song, and now only those who can hear that melody can find you. You also realize that loneliness is different from solitude. Loneliness is the feeling of missing something. Solitude is the fullness of being complete with yourself. You no longer fear being alone because you are never truly alone. You carry the universe within you, not who others expect, not who fear shapes, but the true self that existed before the world told you who to be. In this new life, you are not hardened, you are refined. You are not cold, you are clear. You are not disconnected, you are wisely connected, with boundaries born out of self-respect. The journey of ignoring the noise is not easy. It takes courage to stop reacting. It takes strength to stop explaining. It takes deep love for yourself to choose peace over chaos again and again. But once you do, everything changes. You are no longer tossed by the storms outside. You have become the storm inside, the quiet, steady one that no one can control, no one can use, no one can silence. You have stepped into your real life, and now the world must meet you as you truly are, or not at all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.